Hello, and welcome to another Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, creating a healthy entrepreneur. I have some wonderful friends of mine from the PFF platform taking center stage with me on the Own It publishing platform to talk to you and really give you some really good tidbits on how to just manage those finances, manage the emotions around those finances, manage relationships when it comes to finances as well, because sometimes it could be very hard. So, without further ado, let me bring on my crew. Welcome, Jeffrey. Good
Hey,
morning.
Tiff.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning, Danielle. Welcome.
Good morning.
And welcome,
Good
Coach Gina. Good
morning.
morning. Welcome, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I am so glad to have you all today. And I am so excited to share what you guys do, who you are. So let's go ahead and go around the room real quick. We'll start with you, Jeffrey. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the audience who you are, where you are, and what you do in the health and wellness realm.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiffany. It's an honor to be here. So, I'm Jeffrey Berger. I'm from Cape Coral, Florida, which is Southwest Florida. I'm a certified holistic wellness coach, and I'm coming back into the scene now. I've been out for about a couple of months and really focusing on my own health. And with that, being a health coach, one of the things that I'm encouraging people to is really take a focus and look at your own health from a holistic perspective. So I am all about the gut brain axis health. I'm living daily with the belief of me being the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness. We all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about finances. And so there you have it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeffrey. All right, Danielle, you're up.
Good morning. I'm Danielle Robinson. I'm a Reiki Master Practitioner and Instructor at the Healing Shop in Upland, which I own. I also do tarot reading, sound bowl technician, life coaching, and we have over 100 different types of crystals, and our focus is on mind, body, spirit balance through using alternative means. And so I have a school of hypnotherapy and alternative healing as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danielle. All right, Coach Gina, you're up.
Hello, and thank you for having me, Gina Brown, Coach Gina. I'm a wellness coach, mind and body, for all those who are struggling with accountability and need some extra nutrition and fitness tips and accountability. So I'm really an expert in that area. I am a virtual coach. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So, all y'all already know me, but I will introduce myself again. For those that do not, I am Tiffany Williams Para, editor in chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. We focus on getting you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit through sharing our life stories, journeys, as well as our education and background. So, we're going to get on into talking about finances. So, everything runs hand in hand, right? And when your finances are off, your health is off, right? You can't eat the right things. Maybe you can't get that gym membership or that app that you need on your phone just to get yourself right. Or maybe it's that it is really weighing on you emotionally. Maybe it's tearing up your relationships because you're just not open enough to maybe share what's going on to your spouse or significant other. So we're just going to go around the room. I'm going to start with you, Jeffrey, because we did recently have a talk about, just finances. And let's talk about just the climate today when it comes to our finances and just, what people can do to find balance, when
Sure.
just kind of navigating through this.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, Tiffany. And really, my whole journey started back in 2001 after 9/11. I basically lost most of my retirement between 2001 and 2008. And yes, I did have a financial planner. But what I've come to realize over the years is that we have people like these that guide us, but they may not be working in our best interest all of the time. However, with that being said, what I learned is we as individuals need to be more on top of all of our, all of the things that we're doing to live, um, and sustain our lifestyle. Because if we don't have that knowledge, say for example, you work with somebody and then all of a sudden they pass away. Well, then where do you take all of that knowledge? And I think what most people do today, which is what I did, is rely on other people to do those things. And it doesn't mean that you have to become an expert, but be aware of your finances, be aware of your accounting, be aware of your health, so forth and so on. So with that being said, over the last 20 years, I have, and more so in I would say the last 5 years, especially with the disrupt that's going on today globally, I am more focused on that financial aspect, because this really determines how we live, unfortunately, because money speaks for everything.
Right.
So, so that's a little bit about, where I'm coming from. And so, yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll let somebody else speak
And
up.
I think, Jeffrey, you hit it right, or you hit the nail right on the head there, because we have to advocate for ourselves, right? We
Correct.
cannot depend on others to do those jobs. We have to at least know a little bit in every area, the accounting, all those things that maybe we don't want to know, even the credit.
Exactly.
Do you know your credit numbers? Things like that, because
Right.
that is very, very critical when it comes to navigating, right? So Danny, we're going to go ahead and go to you. What has been your experience just with, trying to, navigate in this financial realm as an entrepreneur?
Well, I think Jeffrey kind of hit the nail on the head. One of the words that I kind of wrote down that he said was awareness. Awareness brings us the opportunity to navigate the things that are coming, the rough waters, and it keeps us more in peace mode, because at least we can see what's coming.
Right.
When we're unaware and we just put something in someone else's hands, or we walk away, or we kind of do one of these things where we don't want to see, then absolutely when something comes up, it's going to be a surprise to us and it's going to throw us off of our game.
Yeah, absolutely. Gina, what about you? What has been your experience?
Well, I find that this conversation is just really a special, special moment. I'm an artist, but I'm a painter, a visual artist, and a performing artist. So right now, today, it's impacting me and so many other artists in a unique way, especially in Los Angeles. We're on strike with the Writers Union, and you talk about finances, that is our livelihood. When production isn't happening, measures have to be considered. So it's not a traditional entrepreneur. It's not a traditional employee at a regular 9 to 5 job. We are really, really in a lot of vulnerable um, positions as far as where does our revenue generating income come from, and how do you stay healthy with the instability of this where we are. I mean, we knew the strike was coming, and we knew it would impact production. And so measures, you try to take as many precautions and save and get other resources or get income from different areas, which luckily I'm able to do because I have multiple streams. However, it still impacts your health,
Yes.
because mentally you're like, okay, how many dollars from this area? How many dollars from this area? When will production come back? Where will my time be allocated once it does? So there's just a lot of different factors. So for all of you in the actor, writer, director, production, even the set design, even casting directors. I mean, if there's no casting happening, then there's no revenue coming. If there's no auditions coming in, it impacts everyone's finances. So I'm coming from that hat.
Yeah. Now, you said something very critical there too. Multiple streams. when you only have just that, when you're just depending on that one job. I mean, there's so many people out there, I'm going to even go to your 9 to 5ers, right? That are dependent only on that one job because they feel like, hey, that's bringing in the money, that's the insurance, that's the comfort. But if you get laid off, I mean, look at how many people got impacted by COVID. I mean, I was one of them. I got laid off, and if you're in that position as a full-time, 9 to 5 worker with no plan, you're kind of screwed. So, I mean, I was lucky because I had already had 3 different streams of income that I had put into place so I could bounce back. So let's talk about that a little bit because I want to know. I mean, you've already said you have those multiple streams, Gina. So let's go to you, Jeffrey, about just those multiple streams. What is your backup? What does your multiple streams look like in your world, or do you have
Yeah,
them?
so that's a really really good point, Tiffany, and yeah, Gina did hit the nail on the head. So just to set the foundation, most of us here have been taught to go to school, get an education, get good grades, and go find a nice, safe, secure job and work 40 years and retire, and you'll be happy. Well, that's not the case. You see what's happening in the world. Who's greeting you at Walmart but your grandparents?
Right.
Why are they having to work again? Obviously because of the world economic situation. So, and I was a software engineer for 20 some odd years, making 6 figures. Is that sustainable today? No, it's not. So I ended up having to look at multiple streams of income to supplement that and help put away, with especially with what happened to me in 2001, which is why I started to look at other avenues of income. So, through my coaching business, that is a stream of income. By the way, I am retired from corporate America, so I'll be 69 years old this year. So I am on Social Security through that. I have my coaching business. I have looked at diversifying what left I had of my retirement portfolio into digital asset projects in the digital currency world, because what I had left over the last 20 years that I put back into the system was failing. So, back in 2009, Bitcoin was introduced, and being a software engineer, I'm like, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a scam. I thought it was a Ponzi scheme. We know where Bitcoin is today. Yes, it has had its ups and downs, but it's still there. Today we've got cryptocurrency. So what I did is I basically opened up my eyes to other opportunities to look and investigate how can I generate other streams of income besides my coaching business. And I've been able to do that through, digital currency projects that have commodities, international real estate, which is fractional ownership. So I own part of hotels and apartment complexes, worldwide. So that is another way. And so what you do is you get out there and find out what are the other opportunities that might entice you to take a little risk, because everything is a risk. The stock market is a risk, digital currency is a risk. Our government is a risk, so forth and so on. So that's what I've done. I've been able to, over the last 3 years, reevaluate where my, my finances were going, and I needed to make a shift and look at those different opportunities. And today I'm very, very pleased because I've got an additional 5 other streams of income coming that will be coming in very shortly because of the investment in it. There's a 3-year waiting period, investing in 150% ROI, 100% ROI on these different projects. So I'm excited about that. And with that being said, we talked about the stress and when it comes to finances, and that was a huge stressor for me for many, many years between 2008 and over the last couple of years. now that stress level has like just totally dropped to basically very minimal stress today. So that's what I've done to really come into um, this forefront of looking at other options. And it's just about being open, because I know so many people are scared. Hey, I was in that rat race, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't disrupt anything. But come to realization, many of us are losing or have lost our retirement. So where do we go?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Jeff. So we're
Sure.
going to go ahead and click over to a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back. We're going to go ahead and go over to Danielle and talk about what she's done with multiple streams of income. So we will be right back. And we are back. That is such a fun commercial with Mufo Entertainment, right? You got you dancing in your seat, I tell you.
It is so fun.
We are back, Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine. We are talking about creating a healthy entrepreneur. We're talking about finances today and what that all looks like. So let's go ahead and go to you, Danny. Thank you so much, Jeff, for all that you shared with all your multiple streams of income. That is awesome. Just the digital world, right? It's scary,
Right.
but it's a necessity.
It's the future.
It is. So Danny, tell us, so owning a store, I know I've been in your store and I know you got so much going on. So just kind of share with us what you've done in your store to have a lot of different multiple streams of income so you could really be able to succeed.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because my business is probably like a perfect template for this topic because because I purchased it during the pandemic. And so, most people probably think I'm completely insane and went home to my husband and said, hi, I want to buy a store full of rocks, right? Not knowing what the country is going to do and knowing that probably there is some recession that's coming. And so currently I have 3 streams of revenue in my store: my practitioner work, my instruction, via myself and other instructors that I have for hypnotherapy and other topics. And then we have products, the crystals themselves. So I have thousands of SKUs for that, my salts and all of these different things. So when you're in a situation like this, you have to kind of pull back and look at your whole entire industry and sort of decide if you're trying to add some sort of a revenue stream. So some of the things that I did, now like I said, I have now multiple instructors. So that's rental income that I have coming in. And then I have other practitioners coming in. So then I get like a little piece of what they make. And then I have products and I brought in consignment vendors. So then that's money that's sitting, the product that's sitting on a shelf. And I actually don't have to pay those people until after it's sold. So those are the types of things that you can do, but you really have to pull back and look at what the options are for your industry. And I actually have other things I need to expand to, but I'm trying to hone in my skills on exactly what I'm doing here. So I have other streams after I've pulled back that just haven't been implemented yet. And also I've kind of found that rolling out things, not one right after the other, letting people get acclimated to the different products and topics that I have coming into the store before I just roll it out too much at once, because otherwise people get overwhelmed. There's information overwhelm that happens with people sometimes. So you really have to just kind of like look at the different options that you have. And then worst case scenario, you tap into your knowledge and you maybe begin to write or we have a friend who does that, right? So who teaches authoring. So that's kind of how we've handled it, especially getting through pandemic. It's kind of been tricky because sometimes like if sales go down, we can't tell if that's like the climate of the country or if that's something that we're doing wrong in marketing. So we have to be able to pull back and see a perspective on all of those things at the same time, which is sometimes a little bit challenging and difficult. But if you kind of keep your pulse on the energy of your business, then it's doable. even during a climate like this. And sometimes I've had to scale back a little bit and just kind of keep going. But I kind of find that there's usually a balance between practitioner work. So sometimes when money goes down on the product sales, I find that sessions are going up. So maybe people are not spending money on things, but they're spending money on their own mental health or their physical health. So you have to watch and kind of see what the patterns in your business are, especially when you have a facility like this. And it's difficult because I'm the one who's ultimately responsible for the rent, regardless of what's going on.
Right.
So that becomes the challenge of just making sure that I have the right balance of those particular elements of the business that are already running.
Wow. I think it's all about creating an ecosystem, right, with your business, making sure that you find things that really just mesh well together.
Exactly.
For myself, I have some products, right, that have helped me to get healthy. So now I can, be an affiliate there and be able to share, my experience and be able to sell the product. Then there's also the coaching as well, the online coaching, the in-person coaching. And, I just recently started doing some energy work as well with Danny. We're doing PEMF. So now that's another stream.
That's my newest kind of revenue. Yeah. I didn't even mention that one, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's blending into the Reiki. So that's one of those things where it's blending into things that we already have going on. And there's that love, and it's the mind, body, spirit balance, but it's just different elements to bring in to help support.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's less stress when you bring in things that kind of mesh well together. Like you, Gina, you just, with Gina just started, I'm sharing for you, but she just meshed her coaching, the fitness coaching, right, with art. I mean, because that right there, oh my God, it's brilliant. Right. So that's being able to build that ecosystem together where you're doing things that you're passionate about a bunch. I mean, I'm a Gemini, y'all. Okay. I got these two twins here. We like everything. And then I'm also a manifestor generator, which means that I have my hands in pretty much everything all the time. So when you have something that it's just really, really all working hand in hand, it's a little less stress. It's more just having a lot of fun doing it. So that's what I can share on just having those multiple streams. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. You let the cat out of the bag. It's okay. And it's not really a bag that needs to be closed. Art therapy. So having sessions with art therapy and using art as a way to healing and expressing and nurturing your creativity and your inner soul, emotions, things that you're going through. You can't always. We have a lot of introverts, right? They're not big speakers, they're thinkers. And art is a way to heal through that. Emotion, finances. It's a very emotional thing. Sometimes you're embarrassed, you're emotional. You're like, I should be further along financially in this area in my life. Your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, things happen, it sets you back, right? And emotionally, mentally, that can really put a damper on things. I have been through the cycle, unfortunately, more than once. And so I've always got out of the cycle. And then it's like when you get back in the second time, you're like, are you serious right now? Like, I'm here again. And so what do you do? What do you do to stay mentally, emotionally fit with your finances? And one of the things that I think each of us could attest to is do some sort of movement with the body, because we are energy. We are energy beings. And when we move, naturally our mind shifts, right? For me, I'm a runner, so I'm going to go run, or I'm a rollerblader, so I'm going to go find the beach and go rollerblade here in California. So, but if I can't do that, what else can be done, right? At home fitness, impact, yoga, whatever, mind. I tell you, people run away from doing any kind of exercise. I want to implore you to run to that, go to that, find a YouTube video and get to working. And you will see how your mood changes, your attitude changes, your body changes. You'll discover solutions. epiphanies will occur because you opened up your mind. It's like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? Or this person, I should call them and see, all these things will open up. So that's my nuggets on
Yes,
getting
yes.
through
No,
it.
and you are so, so absolutely right. I mean, when you just get moving and you start just, hitting those endorphins start going and that dopamine, that serotonin, everything just starts flowing, you're in a good mood. It just really elevates you. So, like you said, you do your running and rollerblading. I know for myself, I'm very much into yoga right now because I just, if I get really stressed out. And yes, finances is probably the biggest stressor for anyone,
Yeah.
because you're just trying to figure it all out. Or if you've had a bad week, you're trying to forecast like, okay, what can I do to make sure I have that better week? What can and you're driving yourself crazy. So I do my yoga. I also am a tree hugger. I was telling Danny yesterday, I was at her store and we were talking to a gentleman and I said, I can't get out and get into nature enough when I start feeling off and just out of sorts. I will go and hug a tree. I know my neighbors probably think I am insane. I know people at the park probably think I'm insane, but that really helps to ground me back to that earth, that energy that we need to connect with. So, Jeff, tell us, what are some of the things that you do to just, when you're feeling that angst about, finances and things, what do you do to just kind of find that balance?
Yeah, so I do want to add to what you were saying about grounding and what Gina was talking about, the physical activity. And, we're looking at more holistic stuff. So, with my background being the microbiome, which is the gut, brain, heart, access,
Mhm.
health, the research that I've done over the last 4 years, the foods that we eat today are chemically processed. They're not nutrition.
That's right.
And this is I truly believe that this is a science that's disrupting the health and wellness industry. And so many of the chemicals that I have researched, chemicals meaning the preservatives that are in our foods, cause depression, anxiety. They disrupt your gut health. And that connection between the gut and the brain, we talk about a gut feeling. Well, what is your gut telling you? It's talking to you. It really is. And science is proving that. So we've got those gut feelings. And, you know, this is something that people are starting to wake up. It's a new revelation. And I'm happy to see that more and more people are being open to getting information about this and learning about it because it's a new science. But when it comes to the finances, that, as I mentioned earlier, it was a huge stressor for me with regards to my overall health, because I was letting it eat away inside of me. And over the last couple of years, I've been more open than I have been in my entire life because I was, I'm I was going to say Gen X. No, I'm not Gen X. I'm a baby boomer. I'm a baby boomer. And, I grew up in this little box and it's like, okay, I'm a robot and I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
So, but when it comes to finances, and I was writing this down when Gina was talking, we got, and I mentioned this earlier about systems. What's going on with our tax system, with our medical system, with the food system, with the job security, with the inflation that's happening today, the banking system? All of these systems are wreaking havoc on us, which is part of finances, our finances. And this is where I said that people need to start waking up a little bit more and be aware of what's going on. I'm now seeing that there's a possibility of Social Security being cut. Well,
Mhm.
what does that mean for those people who have retired? What's going to happen to our money? You
Mhm.
know, um, I don't want to think about that and stress out about it right now. I've just been
Right.
seeing this coming to in interviews and so forth and so on. But all of these aspects, these little compartments that deal with finances. Be aware. Where do you stand today? What can you do to make small changes to have improved financial freedom and financial stability, because that's what people are looking for. Do you know that I think it's 95 or 98% of the Americans today, if there was an emergency, if the country shut down, they don't have access to $1,000?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's why.
it's like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. So that's what I've done over the last couple of years, is really just start investing and looking at myself. What do I need to do to take ownership as
Mhm.
much as possible to
Yeah.
help reduce that stress and anxiety, from a financial perspective? We can't rely on other people totally. We do rely on certain, like I'm relying on certain people that I'm working with right now from an educational perspective. I
Mhm.
get that education and then I make my own educated decision on, okay, well, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at that. What
Mhm.
do I need to do with this information to move to the next step rather than digress?
Right.
So
Yeah.
hopefully that provided a little insight.
Yeah. No, most definitely. Danny, do you want to add into that?
I do actually. So yeah, so Jeffrey, again, dead on. Our pillars of society being so unstable right now,
Yep.
like just seeing so many different things, and the toxins in the body. That's a huge one, because many of the times in the Reiki aspects, that's coping mechanisms much of the time too.
Mhm.
And just as far as my background is concerned, the way that I got into this industry at all is because I was extremely sick. I had fibromyalgia. I barely could walk sometimes, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 13 years. So I decided I wanted to see my kids, grow up and get married. So I started changing that. But part of the issue is that people don't really have their fingers on the pulse of their own emotional states.
Mhm.
So they don't even notice when they're out of alignment, and they don't have a plan of action to self-correct. So that's part of the reason I teach everything that I teach, because once I got to the space where I was able to heal, and try to get a grasp on what was going on with my own life and make a plan, I decided that I was going to spend the rest of my life teaching other people how to do that. And so obviously bringing it back to our topic, once we do that, then we have the clarity to be able to navigate the situations that we're in when we're having financial difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like you said, just learning the techniques, right? It's sometimes, like I think I said it earlier, just sitting down and taking a breath.
Right. And
And
and that's part, like that particular gentleman, he came into my store. Actually, he came into my store to try to sell me something. And he came in with someone else. He had an anxiety attack, and I took him outside and took off my shoes and stood next to the tree. Remember, he was joking. He said, I wouldn't take
yeah.
off my shoes, but I did touch the tree. And so just teaching people basic things like that. It's just amazing to me that some people don't have the basic skill to help calm themselves. That's something that we really should learn in toddlerhood. But we're not taught those things because, as Jeff was saying, our society is just a very, very go, 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 go society. And we're so busy trying to achieve, that the generation that you're talking about. My parents are in that generation as well, older than you, but I'm trying to teach them those things, and they're starting to understand those things. But those weren't things that were taught to us.
Right. You're absolutely correct on that, because it's people like us that are getting out into the forefront by doing these interviews and sharing stories and sharing information, because there are people who are they're looking for other
Mhm.
solutions, because what
Right.
is happening to them now, what they're doing right now, is not working.
Correct. Yeah.
And there are more and more people that are open to alternative options.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of what our community is building here in regards to getting this information out, because it is stifled by mainstream media. I was
Yeah.
shut down in Facebook for many, many months, for like a year and a half, by sharing holistic education.
Hmm.
And that is not the protocol today, but people want to get out of that, and that's what we're here for, is to share that, whether it's Reiki or yoga or gut
Art.
health or
Art.
art. Yes, exactly, art. I'm, I play the piano. I'm getting back to playing the piano because that helps reduce my stress. I was a
Yes.
performer in New York City with the New York City Jazz Company. I love the arts. For me. It was an escape. That's another story in another time. But those are things that bring joy to so many people, and it's very, very therapeutic.
Yes.
Yes,
Agree.
yes. No, it is. It really is. So we're going to go ahead and click to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this finance thing. So we'll be right back.
Wait, you want some more? Wait, you want some more? Okay. Wait, you want some more? Wait, you want some more?
And we are back. Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, talking about creating a healthy entrepreneur. We are talking about finances. Now, we have talked about, some ways to, get some multiple streams of income. We've talked about how to bring our stress level down a little bit. Let's talk about when we don't do our research, or when we get into a situation in this new climate. I'm going to just share a little situation with you myself. So I got into the Bitcoin arena, and a person actually established a relationship with me, or a friendship with me, excuse me, for about a year. So after a year, you would think you could trust someone, right? I did all the research, everything. I ended up thousands of dollars lost because the person was not a viable source. They were a crook. We'll just say it outright. So we really want to make sure when we are looking into some of these alternative ways to bring in money, that we are really doing our research, that we're depending on trustworthy people in our lives. Like if I was to, I've had the conversation with Jeff, hey, what is it that you're doing? Because I see you over there. I see you being successful with these things. What is it that you're doing? And he shared, his experience. He shared his, resources. And that's coming from someone that's trusted, that is doing it already. So, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's go around the room, because it really it took me by just really by surprise, because of, again, how long it was. So Jeff, you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. Yeah, so I've had those experiences too, where I've invested some time, I've invested some money, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. They're cleared away. So, excuse me. So doing due diligence. This is what I've learned, is really doing some research, especially with the digital currency world, because there are so many scams that are out there. One of the things that I took ownership was doing my own investigation to make sure that it was a legal business, it was registered, and that there were the proper, the proper paperwork was put into place. But then also check out the leaders and the trainers who are teaching us about this industry, because it is so volatile in many ways. Where Tiffany, you said that you were being led along
Yeah.
for so long, and then all of a sudden, boom, dropped. So I have been, over the last 3 years, making different, participating in different projects, and looking at the technology and looking at the company, and that is a huge factor. Just if it looks too good to be true, then don't do it. Because if they're promising you the world, and they're
Yeah.
promising you to make $1 million in a month, forget it. It's, just like anything else, it takes time to build a stable financial platform, no matter whether you're in the stock market or the digital currency or you're developing real estate, so forth and so on. So, because I was before, I would say probably about before 6 years ago, I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I'm gonna register. I'm gonna buy it, or I'm gonna do this, and it was a scam. So, and it's sad to see that there are many of those people that are out there doing this to the people of the world, who so many are working their butts off and just want to get ahead a little bit to have more options. And but ultimately, they're really destroying people's lives, which is sad. So, but right now, I'm satisfied and happy, and I'm anxious to see what the next couple of years are going to bring with these projects. And yeah, do your due diligence.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. What about you, Danny?
Oh, well, definitely, of course, as Reiki practitioner, my first thing is going to be intuition, being aligned enough to be able to understand what your intuition is telling you. And Jeffrey actually said something earlier too. His studies regarding gut health. The gut speaks, right? The question
Right.
is, do we listen?
Right.
So the other thing I will say, just from a very, very real world perspective, like he said, research, research, research. And also, normally, if they want you to jump into something that's very fast, and they want you to sign up right now, and there's not going to be another opportunity, you honestly need to question their intentions.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times the way that we've been trained, especially in this country, is to assume that what you're seeing is what you're getting, and we're finally starting to see that that's not real. That's why we're starting to realize these things like Bitcoin are sometimes questionable. So if someone wants you to move way too fast, faster than you have time to research, and to check in with your gut, then the honest answer for me is usually no.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you said that, Danny, because honestly, my gut was speaking to me so loud. And I was just so excited about what was being said towards the end of that year, that I just completely just stopped listening to my gut. And
Fellow
yes,
Gemini,
it does
and I
speak
only
quite
learned
loud.
that because I made that mistake.
You're so right, Danny, because it took me about a year before I decided to get on board with some of these projects. I just kept researching and talking and educating myself. So, and the gut does talk to you, and I didn't really understand what that was for many, many years, but I do now, and it's been a godsend in many, many ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's that alignment. So like when so things open up when you're in alignment. So then when those opportunities come, the gut tells you that it's real.
Correct.
But if you're not in alignment and you can't focus, it's like, oh my gosh, should I, and your gut's telling you no, 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 and you do it anyway, then that's when we make mistakes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just listen to those gut feelings, y'all.
Exactly. And
Coach Gina.
for me, it has been a lot of mistakes along the way, but then you learn to trust your instinct, trust your gut. And, I was raised in the church, and I was always, very, versed in scripture and in the Bible. And oddly enough, when it came to like business decisions, I never asked God, is this the right choice? And over the years, you learn to rely on that a lot more. Like now it's like, okay, if he didn't give me the green light, we ain't doing nothing. And so when you sharpen those listening skills and praying, and something told me those instincts, your gut, your intuition, if you're spiritual, divine, wisdom, you learn to live your life according to those rhythms you know, of life. And now I'm way more in tune with what's happening around me, and not so anxious when we, like Jeffrey, Tiffany, all of us, when we are younger, we're not aware. When they say, oh, this is the last opportunity, you have only 5 hours left. the scarcity. So you're making a decision on a scarcity. It's not going to be available to you any longer.
Right.
And when you realize that is just a total lie, because if this opportunity isn't the one now, there'll be another one for you that is more appropriate, et cetera, down the road. So you
Mhm.
learn in maturity. You learn in maturity and wisdom to make better decisions based on the information that you have, and then
Mhm.
not allowing that other person or people or groups or whatever to bully you into
Mhm.
thinking that you are not going to have another chance at anything greater later on. Like, it's okay to marinate in things, research, understand, clarity, ask questions. And I think that when maturity, once you get old, you realize, and if I were to say this to my younger self in my 20s, I would say, take your time. It is okay. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to take your time and research, and everything will fall into place much smoother. You'll be more calmer. You won't feel like lacking anything. All these emotions get created based on decisions of us thinking that it's not going to be available to us any longer. And those are just not true. And when you can relax in that,
Yeah.
you'll look back 3 years from now, you'll be like, oh, wow, yeah, I took my time. I'm with the right people. This is great. I'm getting the fruit. The investments are coming in, just like, but when you made those quick, fast decisions because you wanted the money now and da 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 da
Right.
da, and then you lost all the money. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
No, so I would also say I was also raised in the church, and like all of that blends in now as a youth pastor when I was 25, 23 years ago. So I would say that, well, prayer is questions going up, meditation or answers coming down. So coming through the crown chakra, and when someone is triggering that sort of emotion that she's describing, that's root chakra. So that's tapping into the fear and anxiety and the lack energy you're talking about. So yeah, so once you are in alignment, then you realize that those gut sensations that's God, right? That's coming through the crown chakra, that's speaking through your third eye, that's coming through your gut in order to give you the answers. But sometimes, like I said, we just don't listen
Right.
because they've tapped into our lack emotion, our root chakra energy.
we ignore the warning signs.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And then we're looking back like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Right. So pay attention, y'all. Pay
One of
attention.
one of my best examples of this not listening and then remembering that you were given the warning is when you're driving. When you're
Mm.
driving and something says, you know exactly how to get to where you're going, and something says, don't go this way this time, go a different route. And you ignore that. Oh, I go this route all the time. I know where to go, and you just go. And then all of a sudden you're in gridlock traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That is the intuition prompting you to go the other way because you could avoid the traffic jam. So if you ever get that, learn to exercise that muscle to get better.
Yes. Yes. I'm just loving this conversation, y'all. Look, we could be doing this all day, I tell you, but
Yeah.
we already it's already almost 50 minutes. So we're gonna go around the room. Please give our audience some words of wisdom, words of encouragement that they can really just take and move forward with for the rest of the week, rest of the month. Look, we are already gonna be in June, y'all. Can you believe it? It
Yeah.
seemed like the year just started, and we're already almost 6 months in. So,
Exactly.
give us some words of encouragement, words of wisdom, Jeffrey.
So my words of wisdom today would be is to uh, for people to be open to getting information. Don't step out of your comfort zone. Too many people are in their little circle and they want to be comfortable all the time. You have to step out of your comfort zone to realize what's going on. Just to list a few things: World Economic Forum, One World Order, Fed Now, get ready for the next pandemic, the CBDC, and the list just goes on and on and on. Get educated, get information, and then make your best educated decision yourself by being educated about all these things that are going on. Do your research. Don't rely on one source, because unfortunately, many of our sources are controlled, and they want you to see what they want you to see. And there are other sources out there that give you that weighing balance of, okay, so I got to check this out. So keep your options open when it comes to anything. I used to say keep your options open to getting health information, but today it's really everything, because there's so much bad information out there. And we need to get the right information, and so we can make a really informed decision for our own mental health, because everything that we do in life today is wrapped around mental health. And my whole thing is mental fitness is the new physical health today. Thanks.
Absolutely. And Jeff, real quick, how can they get in touch? How can our audience get in touch with you if they want to work with you, and just
Sure.
maybe just pick your brain and get some more information about what you're doing, with your finances?
Sure. So I can be reached at, I have a website, jeffreyeberger.biz. And you can email me at jeffrey@jeffreyeberger.biz. And for those, and I don't normally do this, but I have decided I'm going to open this up because people are really looking. My cell phone number is 239-933-7678. 239-933-7678. Text me first, letting me know that you saw the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine interview on finances, and I'll get back to you. And thank you, Tiffany. And it was a pleasure to be on this panel with all of you amazing ladies.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeffrey. All right, Danny's words of wisdom, encouragement for our audience, and then how they can get in touch with you as well.
Well, my words of wisdom and encouragement would be, especially if you're going to open a brick and mortar business during this climate, I would say plan as much as possible, but you also have to have the flexibility to know that things aren't going to always go as planned. And if you don't panic, and if you keep yourself kind of in alignment with what your purpose is and keep focused on things that you love, then you'll be able to pivot through those things. So that's the best advice I can give, because it's been a journey the last 2 years since I purchased the store. Yeah. And to get a hold of me, there's 3 different ways to get a hold of me. If you wanted to book an appointment with me, I do Zoom sessions, so it doesn't even have to be someone here in California. That would be, you can book appointments at thehealingshop.com. I also do physical appointments. I'm actually here in my Reiki room right now, and I perform other services as well. If you needed to call because you don't like computers, the number to our store is 909-949-0403, and I have some really helpful ladies who can assist. And also you could email me at Danielle, Danielle, at thehealingshop.com, and shop is SHOPPE.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Danny. All right, Coach Gina.
Thank you, Tiffany, for having us. I am so happy to be here again. 2 things that I would like to bring home is, one, keep your faith. Just hold on to your faith. You're not alone. And just, if you need to reach out to anyone regarding your mental state with finances or otherwise, just keep your faith, pray, invite, ask people, reach out. And 2 is get better. And I'm talking to myself too. Get better at saving. They always tell you for every 10% goes into your savings account, and don't even think about it. For every $100, $10 goes into the savings. And the more we as individuals, business owners, creatives, and the country, we can get better at increasing our savings, things will be a lot better.
Awesome. And how can they get in touch with you as well?
Oh yes, how can you get in touch with me? CoachGina.com is my website, CoachJeanna.com. You can also email me at CoachGina@gmail.com for any questions. Put in the subject line Phoenix Fitness Fanatics or PFF, so I know where you're coming from. And we can go from there.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I just want to thank the three of you for joining me today for this wonderful conversation about creating a healthy entrepreneur and their finances and what we can do to just navigate through this climate. You all can also see all of these amazing people in the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine. They each are contributing writers to the magazine. So monthly, they have some really awesome and amazing articles and also some services and products and things that you can learn about in the magazine as well. So, words of wisdom or encouragement from myself. Again, yes, do your research. Make sure that you use a trusted person when you are doing anything with your finances. And Gina, I'm going to say it too, save, save, and save, because you never know when you are going to need that extra for that emergency, that rainy day, and you definitely do not want to be stuck out there with nothing. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for our
Thank
Phoenix Fitness
you.
Fanatics magazine
Thank you, Tiffany.
interview.
Thank
We
you.
love you so much. Happy Wellness Wednesday, and we will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.